Hi guys, it's nice to be back. What you're looking at is probably going to totally baffle you. What is it? Well, it's actually a vase, and it's probably one of the most hideous vases that you've ever seen. I know it was for me, and I'm not a fan of it. The face of it is horrific. It's in an emerald green, which I am not a fan of at all, and it's a nice shape though, so there is a quality about it that I had to admire. I purchased it at a local Goodwill store, and I went in to find some pieces basically to just kind of the accent pieces around my living room, and I found this, and I was going to bring it home and sand it down, and that could still happen, but in the meantime I have to plunder something. You see, I decided to do some research on it. Curiosity really set in a big way. I did some research on it. I went to this website called justanswer.com, and they have just tons of people there who are appraisers in fine art and so many other things as well. So I submitted this vase in as an entry, and I got this feedback that, take a look at my little post-it note here on the very top, valued up to $100. $10 now times 10. So I'm basically wondering, where am I going to go from here? I don't like it, so it'll probably end up on eBay, and if that doesn't work out, I may just very well paint it. But for now, I think eBay is a good idea, or some of the other websites as well. Now, with that being said, I decided to share some other things with you. About maybe 17 years ago, when I was working for a major retailer in a corporate office environment, they did a renovation and they decided to get rid of everything. All the construction crew came in and everything had to go in a matter of minutes. So these prints were hanging on the wall, and no one wanted what they called the ugly pictures. I've always been a fan of equestrian art, but I just thought it would be cutesy as a little girl. So I took these pictures. I just got my first home, and I really didn't have an idea about how to cover the walls, much less and put furniture in it. So these pictures have been in storage and for some time now, and now that I have my second home, I decided, well, let's pop out the prints and put in some fabric, that modern day decorating that we're all doing right now. But again, curiosity set in and said, okay, go to justanswer.com and submit these prints, and let's see what falls out. Well, to my surprise, this first print, which is in great condition, I got a great response. It is the print from John F. Herring Sr., and it's entitled The Earl of Derby Stage Hounds, and again it says based upon the condition. I want to pan up to my little post-it note the response that I got there, if you can see that. Ta-da! That's up to $200. So what am I thinking about popping out the prints and putting in fabric for less than $5 a yard? I love the frames, and they are the real deal in gold leafing, which I love, and I was so excited to just repurpose the frames. But I'm going to destroy some artwork. This second print here, which is entitled The Meet at Blagdon, and I hope I'm saying it correctly, is an engravement by Thomas Lurton, and I'm going to pan up once again to my little post-it note here. There you are. Again, main thing, guys, is trash to treasure. These were about to go in the dumpster. I seized them not knowing what I would do. Out of necessity, I just couldn't see something that looked nice go away. I didn't necessarily like it, but I decided to see what it was. Now this next piece is something that I have just recently fallen in love with. Again, same time I got the other two prints, and there it is. It's called Summer Kimono. And guys, I submitted this to justanswer.com. Like I said, and it's amazing what those appraisers can do. If one can't answer, they transfer it over to the other one that will give you the best advice or that has the strongest expertise. And this artwork is by William Gatewood, and he was known for borrowing from the Japanese traditions and form. Gold and silver leaf is frequently used in his background, and overpainting it with transparency and opaque layers playing random patterns against one another, the geometric shapes, the triangles, etc., as you can clearly see. Well, one of the things about this artist that really impressed me was that he also was very, very talented and very giving. Now, he lived from 1943 to 1994. He passed away due to complications resulting from the AIDS virus. And one of his pieces was contributed to the McGraw Foundation, which is a nonprofit art industry endeavor which directly benefits charities committed to AIDS prevention, care, and cure. I was floored. I mean, AIDS is still an epidemic, as we all know. And guys, my heart went out to this man, and he left a legacy behind. At the McGraw Foundation, there is a piece called The Olin Sun. I looked it up online. Please do OLAN and SUN Sun. It's a beautiful piece, and he created it as a meditative piece where you can just look at it and just meditate, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I found out from justanswer.com that this piece, I'm going to zoom in, should not be sold for anything less than $500. I'm just absolutely shocked at what started out as a $10 investment at a Goodwill organization piqued an interest and my curiosity, thank God, to do some research before I started saying, great frames, let's pop these out and chalk paint them and sand them down and do something vintage and alter them and do something really great for your room when I already had something great. Can't promise you that I'm going to hang on to the vase, but just to let you know, I'm going to continue my research, and I have one or two more pieces to share with you. So this next piece that I have is called Architectural Symmetry, and it is basically a column lithograph, and the current market value for it could be around $200 up to $420. This is something that I got a couple of decades ago, and I stored it in this tube, and it's just been sitting around. So now that my curiosity is piqued, and I guess as you get older you tend to value the things that you've purchased a long time ago, and you want to see what they're worth now, and I'm just so glad that I started with the $10 vase. So here it is again. I mean, this is called Architectural Symmetry. It is slate number, look right here, I believe that is number 28 out of 300 that are printed. And the artist is Sella, and he is an unlisted artist, and his works go for this particular one on a market value might be $200 up to $420. Again, cleaning house, guys, you kind of want to throw things away. Think twice and go ahead and try that justask.com. I just can't recommend it enough. Okay, now here's one for the records, and this is so going to make you smile. This is actually my artwork. I was spending spring break or summer with my sister, and this was in 1981, and my three nephews were running around in the backyard, jumping on a trampoline, just having lots of fun. And I'd taken art classes like crazy that year, and I just wanted to make sure I stayed up on my craft. So I took out my little charcoal pencil and my little sketch pad, and I said, Mark Anthony, sit down, let me do a sketch of you. He was absolutely miserable. It was hot. You know how it is in the South. It's hot in the spring or even in the summer. It doesn't matter. It's always hot. So Mark Anthony sit down in a chair, and he was so hot and miserable and mad at me, he actually fell asleep. So that's why his eyes are closed. And then I kept saying, hold up your hand. I don't know if I was seeing Michael from Good Times or what, but we had lots of fun. At least I did during this little sketch of my nephew, Mark Anthony. So I think I'm actually going to have this piece framed and give it to my sister. And the value of it is it's family, and I'm sure that she will absolutely love it. And this particular print, I think, is my pride and joy of them all. I mean, I can't help but tell you the stories, but this print is called The Gathering at the River, and it is by artist Arthello Beck Jr. And he passed away at age 63, lived from 1941 to 2004. He's an American artist, African American. He is from Dallas, Texas, and he was inspired by things happening in the 1960s. So most of his work features things around the American Civil Rights Movement, and he is one of the artists whose paintings and sketches were featured in a traveling exhibition by athlete Grant Hill, who was inspired by his father, Kevin Hill, who had a painting in their home by this artist called Confrontation. And so Grant wanted to inspire youth to appreciate art, so he therefore put together this traveling exhibition of art, and I'm just really impressed that this artist was one of those that were featured. So I kind of remember something similar to this hanging above the fireplace in the Cosby Show, and I'm not saying this was the exact thing, but I just remember something similar to this. But I am very impressed and so thankful to have this as a part of my collection now, and this is something that I could share with my sons, and just this now goes into history in our family. The adjuster or appraiser stated to me that this has a retail value now today $450, and this is something similar to the other picture that I just showed you earlier, 450 or 420 for that one. So that's another $900 adding to my collection. And I didn't think until today that I have an actual collection. I was getting ready to do what a decorator does, be creative, stay modern, stay on top of trends. And guys, I was getting ready to just tear things out of frames because I loved the frames and hated the picture, hated the vase. And here we are now with close to $2,000 in artwork. So I'm really appreciative. So we're calling this particular video From Trash to Treasure because I think this is a pretty good haul. When I think about what I spent, basically $75 over 20 years ago, and that's the $65 for this current print, the $10 for this particular vase that I'm not a fan of, not sure if I'm ever going to keep it or not, or change it altogether. But I gotta tell you, please, before you destroy something, go ahead, do that justanswer.com, pay the $15 and enroll in it for 7 days. Ask as many questions as you want, get them answered, tip the appraiser $5 or whatever you want to do. But it is well worth it because you'll establish a friendship with them. It is well worth it. You'll put something in your family that has value, and then they can appreciate it as time goes by along with you. Thanks a lot for enjoying this. I hope this has been informative. That's what this is all about, from trash to treasure. And I can't wait to go out and just start framing this stuff. And I think I'm just going to remat a couple of these things, and I'm going to hang on to them. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And remember, from trash to treasure, I think I got a pretty good haul here. Have a great day. See you again soon.